Hi, my name is Kara Svucek.
I'm Julia Brothers.
Jenna Curtis.
Hey, I'm Jenny Fon.
Hi, it's Mimi Chin.
Hi, my name is Ella Dorsch.
Host Keith Andrew, and this is 735. I'm here as the talented and beautiful Jessica Drake, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful day.
Thank you so much for having me, Keith. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the honor's all mine. Now, the first thing I want to ask you about is you are a professional actress and you are a co-business owner of the kickboxing. That's really something I'm very interested in. I love kickboxing. I suck at it, but it's very interesting. And I actually did send you a request to follow me on that account, just to do a little plug.
You did? Okay, great.
What can you tell us and our audience about the kickboxing?
So I've been studying kickboxing, traditional boxing, and Muay Thai for about 15 years. I was living in Los Angeles as an actor. I didn't really like working out too much. I just kind of did it because I had to. And I also had a part-time job at a gym. So I'm like, well, I kind of have to do this from working here. And then I decided to take a kickboxing class, and I actually took it with my mom. She was visiting at the time. And I was like, holy heck, I love this. It's so much fun. And it's something that I just picked up naturally. That and surfing were the only two things I ever naturally picked up in sports. So I guess a good place to be there for surfing is Los Angeles. But I decided to get a private trainer. I trained one-on-one, probably 3 to 4 times a week. I trained as if I was going to compete, but because of the acting, I could never really push myself to competition, because if I had a fight and I get a black eye and then I happen to book something, show up to set with a black eye, they're probably not going to be too happy with me. So it's always been a passion of mine. And then here in Austin, I actually was looking to open up a commercial bakery. And I've met this woman named Jennifer, and she was trying to help me find like a space to open up the bakery. And it just wasn't going well. And I didn't realize how much was involved. And I talked to my then husband at the time, and I said, you know what? I've always wanted to open a kickboxing studio. I think it would be low overhead, really easy, and really fun. So told Jennifer, change of plans. Instead of looking at commercial kitchens, let's look at studio spaces for kickboxing. She said, kickboxing. My husband actually is a kickboxer, and the gym that he's training at closed down. He's looking for a space too. Maybe you guys could talk. And I'm thinking, I want to talk to some dude, be his business partner. I don't know this guy. So I was like, all right, sure. Thinking, probably not going to work. She's like, yeah, no pressure. If it doesn't work, totally fine. So he showed up like, I want to say 15 minutes later. We met him, and we're like, all right, this dude's cool. He's an ex-fighter. He was actually on season 8 of the Ultimate Fighter TV show. And 3 months later, the 4 of us went into business. And Fernando, he's the husband of Jennifer, our real estate person, and I pretty much run the show. We teach all of the classes. Jennifer does all the finance and tax stuff. And that's it. And we've been open for 3 years, and it's great. It's got me back into it. I feel like I don't know. It's a good way to kind of decompress and de-stress, because if you're not focusing on the combos and your mind is elsewhere, you could get hurt. And so that's what I tell my classes every day. I'm like, you can come in, you can wail away at the bag, but we give you combos for a reason. So you can concentrate and you can focus your energy and the time that you're here on doing what you came to do, getting a good workout, and forgetting all that other crap that's going on in your life. So it's a really long story on how I opened a kickboxing studio.
Absolutely. Hey, you can whip my ass into shape. I have a fat neck.
Oh.
My brother
I've never heard that before. No one's ever said. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, oh, I have a fat neck.
My brother teases me every day. He's like, where is your neck?
Well,
it's like I have one. It's like,
I would not say that at all. Your neck does not look fat.
Well, I appreciate it. But the next question I want to ask you I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, and I always joke around with people about this, but I'm actually really serious. Combine UFC,
Yeah.
MMA, put all that together and have a world martial arts competition. And at the end, who is the world's greatest fighter? And
Yeah.
then, what do you think of that?
I think that's a great idea because there's so many types of martial arts, hence MMA, mixed martial arts. There's so many different types. And I think that'd be a great idea. Like and I don't think it'd be the same type every year. I think it would depend on the person. And I think that's a great idea. You should talk to Joe Rogan. If he sees this, Joe, give Keith a call.
No, absolutely. I would love to partner up. And actually, the other thing I'll do mention about partnering up is next question I want to ask you is what can you tell? I'm trying to read a script now, so if I'm
That's okay. I do it all the time.
So the next one I was going to tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you came to do what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, you already know the background for the kickboxing. For the acting, I moved around a lot when I was a kid. My parents divorced when I was just before my 4th birthday. So I kind of went back and forth between Massachusetts and Ontario my whole life. And when I did live with my dad in Canada, I moved around a lot. And I always had a really easy go at making friends. And then when I went to high school, that kind of just stopped. I just kind of became a little more introverted, a little more shy, just kind of scared to kind of it was just very overwhelming for me to be in a city and starting high school. This was in 93. And I decided to join the drama club because I was like, you know what? I need to, this is not me as a person. I'm a very, talkative person. I like talking to people. I like, engaging and having conversations, and I don't like this shy person that I've become. So joined the drama club, and then from then on, I just kind of became like a drama nerd, so they say. But the great thing about living in Canada is that it's a different experience socially than it is in the States. In Canada, I don't remember there, in my high school at least, and I went to high school in a big city, there were different groups of people, but they all got along. Everyone got along. There was no bullying. There was no, I'm sure people had enemies and disagreements and stuff, but I don't remember any of that. I was on student council, drama club, I played basketball. I did all of these things, and I remember it being a really great experience, and not really everyone, and not just me, but the different types of people I had friends with in band, people that didn't do anything, and everyone got along really well. So I think being in drama helped me to kind of come out of my shell, even though a lot of people still think I was shy, and I probably was, but I loved it. I got the bug, and as soon as I got out of high school, I studied it in college, and then I was cast actually at a gay club of all places to be on my first TV show, Queer as Folk. And I was like, what? It's my first time on a TV set, and I was like, this is awesome. I love this. And from there, I'm like, this is what I need to do for the rest of my life. So from there, moved to LA, and the rest is history.
No, absolutely. For me, I can relate because for me, I guess it's different because, from Canada to the States, but the school I went to was a rich, snobby country club. You had the jocks, the bimbos, the wrestlers. You had the people in AV. I was one of them. I loved audio visual. I worked on shows and everything. But there's certain things, too, where you deal with stereotypes. From the staring at you, I love your personality because you have this glow about you that you are warm, you're generous, you can walk up to you have this feel saying, I can be friends with this person because you seem very open.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And there's other people that put a face on, you really don't. They seem nice, but you don't know, keep them at arm's length.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Well, it sounds to me like you have good instincts about people. But no, it's true what you say. You know, like I get it too. There's certain people that I've been around where I'm like, you know, you can sense like the fakeness. And to be honest with you, that's kind of why I didn't really like LA. I was out there for 7 years and I felt like I couldn't really like connect with a lot of people in the industry. I had a lot of friends like outside of the industry and a couple friends that were actors too. But like for the most part, anytime I'd go to auditions, it was always like, I don't know. It felt like a fake pretentious thing. But here in Austin, Texas, I have to say, it's so much better. Everyone here is warm and well, most people, at least I think, are warm and genuine. And you know, it's a better sense of camaraderie here to be an actor. But Los Angeles, I guess the stereotypes are true.
No, I agree. And you know, you're gonna find I almost said assholes, but yeah, it's PG-13. You gotta find assholes and fake people wherever you go.
That's true.
But you know, it's always good. Not in my case, I walk around with my emotions on my sleeve. But it's always good to say, you know what, this is who I am, and this is not a front. So it's always better to be 100% real with people than put a fake, you know, what do people call it? A fake avatar. Like you see somebody, you don't really know if they're put on a show or if that's really who they are. Yeah,
for sure. No, I agree with you. I'm always, and I tell my kid this too, you know, be yourself. You're not going to be friends with everybody. And this is a lesson I learned after I became a mom. Being an actor, you know, of course, there's a part of you that always cares what people think because you're going in to book a job. And I mean, it depends on what they think of you. But as soon as I became a mom, I was like, you know what? That doesn't matter. I'm just going to go in, be myself, do my best. They don't like me, too bad. If they do like me and I'm not the right part, too bad. I'm not going to worry about it. And I kind of teach my son to do the same thing. Just be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else because you can't make friends that way. And if you do, they're going to think they're friends with this other person that you've created. And that's too much work.
And it's funny that you mentioned you're from Texas. 3 cities that I can think of: Houston, the home of The Undertaker, San Antonio, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Austin, Texas, is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No way. See, okay, I didn't know that. I knew that about The Undertaker. He was actually my favorite wrestler when I was a kid, and I watched wrestling with my cousin in the 90s. I didn't know that about that. All those people were from Texas. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a big diehard fan.
Are you? That's awesome. My ex actually just went to a woman's, I don't know if it was pro, but like a woman's wrestling match a couple of weekends ago, and he was telling me about it. He's like, "Oh my gosh, it was awesome! Like these women, like they put on such a performance. It's like going to see like a theatrical show. It's cool. I've never seen one live, but."
Well, one thing I will say, not to sound like an ass or anything, is thank God women got better looking over the years for wrestling wise, because it was really creepy back in the day.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's like, oh gosh. Yeah, no wonder why it wasn't as watched as the men's wrestling. That's funny.
Now, the next question I want to ask you is, what are some of your favorite success stories that you accomplished over the years? That's
a good question. Success stories. You know, it has to involve, one of them would be, one of the first films I did that I was a lead in. And when I got to Los Angeles, it was really hard for me to get an agent because I didn't have a lot of work. I turned down some opportunities, which I shouldn't have, because I thought, I'm not going to do soap operas. I'm going to be a movie actor in my 20s. I didn't really know what I was thinking about. So I auditioned for a lot of movies through self-submission. Auditioned for this one movie, and the director loved me. The producer liked this other girl. So it came down to the producer because he had the money. So they went with her. I get a call maybe a year later from the director of that movie saying, "Hey, this is Chris. His name is Chris Olin Ray. He's the son of Fred Olin Ray, huge B horror movie director. So his son Chris is kind of following in his footsteps. So Chris calls me. He's like, "You auditioned for me about a year ago for this movie called Rectosaurus." He's like, "I was ready to cast you on the spot. You were awesome, but difference with my producer, basically he explained to me what I just explained to you. He's like, I would love to cast you as one of the leads. It's an ensemble cast in this movie I'm doing called Megaconda." I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'd love to audition for you." He's like, "No, I don't need you to audition. The part's yours. Like, I know you can do it." I was like, "Okay, this is great." So, and that was my first lead in a feature film. And it was released in Thailand. And oddly enough, there was some I don't know what it was. There's some award thing in Thailand that I ended up winning for it. But it was based on a comedy. And I'm like, that was not a comedy, but maybe in Thailand they thought it was a comedy. So that was pretty cool. I thought, okay, that right there as an actor, wow, I nailed that audition so well that he didn't have me audition for the next movie. I just came back. So that, and then just being part of the community here in Austin itself is for me a real gift. When I first moved here with my ex, I didn't even know Austin had a scene. I was like, Austin, okay, sure, let's try it. And then I moved here, and I've been more successful here as an actor in Austin than I ever was in Los Angeles. So that right there in itself, I think, is a success story.
Oh, absolutely. And the next one is, because you're a kickboxer, I'm trying to find a way to phrase this, so don't take this the wrong way. So have you ever done any physical sports in your life, and do you like that type of thing?
Oh, I love it. I was a stunt double on CSI Miami for an episode, and I loved doing that. I did a lot of stage combat in LA, but other than so meshing, I don't know are you asking if I've been able to mesh the two, or just sports in general?
A little of both.
Yeah. So I've always been kind of like a tomboy in a way, where I like playing sports. I like being physical. I like being active. And I always said if I ever got a movie where I had to have a stunt double, I'd be like Tom Cruise. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to do all my own stunts. Even if it includes walking around the Burj Khalifa like he did for that one movie. I was like, I don't know if I could do that. I'm like, well, maybe I could.
For me, a lot of people make fun of me for this. I'm a big fan of the human pyramid stuff. I know I'm a loser.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, human pyramid. Oh, my gosh. I just wouldn't want to be on the bottom. I don't think I'd want to be on the top, too, because that'd be a far way to fall. I'd probably want to be in the middle. Not too many people on top of me, but if I fell, it wouldn't be too far down.
Hey, maybe we can make it work one day.
Yes. Yeah, we'll get a bunch of people. We'll figure it out. Guinness Book of World Records or something.
Oh, absolutely. Or at least YouTube record. That's
true. Yeah, I probably get a lot of views. Just people watching to see if we fell. That's probably what it would be.
True. And a bunch of good-looking women, too. Why not, right?
There you go. Yeah, round them up. You're the only dude that can do it, though. You and a bunch of women.
Well, way to put me on the spot, but it is on my bucket list. The next question I want to ask you about disability. So I know we have 7 minutes left of the show, and I'm going to pass it over to you. For people with disabilities, are you willing, and have you ever worked with people with disabilities?
I have, actually, not in an actor sense, but when I was younger, I actually used to volunteer, and I used to take my recesses and go help with the kids with disabilities. And there was actually a little girl named Jessica, and I was in middle school, grammar school at this time, so I don't remember what she had, but I remember she couldn't communicate, she couldn't talk, but it just meant the world to them that kids actually didn't care about their time with their friends. There's kids that wanted to go and help them and hang out with them. And I was one of those people. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I? just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you should be singled out and like not have recess with the other kids. So yeah, I used to volunteer my time for that. And then, I've done some studying as an actor on disabilities as well in some character work. I've always been fascinated by just how the brain works and how intrinsic it is. And yeah.
No, absolutely. And like I was saying, that says a lot about someone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are people, and everyone has a disability, so to speak, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, nobody's perfect. And it's, instead of looking at it as like a hang up, we should, look at it as, oh my goodness, I put that on decline. My phone's not, but my computer is.
Anything can happen live.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to do it because okay, there we go.
Oh, it's fine. It will go away.
I'm so sorry. I do not disturb on my phone, but on my computer, I guess it doesn't. It's a different thing. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, we shouldn't single people out for their disabilities. We should, praise people, all of our disabilities, and it adds to who we are as people, and it makes us all unique because each one of us is perfect because there's no one else like us, right?
No, absolutely. The last one question I want to ask is, how can our listeners get in touch with you, and what's the next step for them to get started with you? I don't know what that means, but.
Well, I could answer that in two ways. So I'm not really on Facebook too much. I watched The Social Dilemma. Oh my gosh. And it made me delete all my apps from my phone except Instagram because I need that for the kickboxing studio. But my Instagram and my Twitter are Jess Ann Drake, JessAnnDrake. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm probably not going to respond too much because I'm not on there. But Instagram, come and find me, Jessica Drake. And then my kickboxing studio is Rise Kickbox. We are going to be launching an online membership soon. So even if you don't live in Austin, Texas, you will have the opportunity to follow along with workouts that myself and my business partner do. We're in the process of doing that. I'm not sure when it's going to drop. I'm hoping in the new year. But it takes a long time to accumulate a library of videos. So we're working on that. But Rise Kickbox. And did that answer your question?
No, absolutely.
All right,
Now,
cool.
I do have a couple questions for you off the air.
Sure, yeah.
Wrapping up, kind of had a thing without hurting myself. The last question, I want you to be completely brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest first opinion? What made you say yes? And after being a guest, how you feel now, and would you recommend it to other people?
Okay, so my first honest opinion or my reaction was, oh my gosh, somebody wants me to be on a talk show. So I was excited. And I think it's absolutely amazing that you have been so open with the fact that you do have disability, that you have your own freaking TV show. Like, how cool is that? It's amazing. So of course I want to be a part of something like that. But yeah, my initial reaction was, wants me to be on their talk show? Okay, let's do it. And yes, 100%, I would recommend being on your show to anybody and everybody. I can even, help you try to recruit some people here in Austin if you want.
No, I would love that. And hey, if you know any public broadcasting, I've been trying to get on that. I'm actually, for people who want to watch the Keith Andrew Network, I'm on Facebook, and hopefully you can get back on there once, eventually.
I know.
I'm on Facebook, YouTube. Even if you don't have Facebook, there's YouTube. For people who live in Manhattan, I'm on the Manhattan Neighborhood of Broadcasting every Saturday, 10:30 in the morning on Channel 2, only in Manhattan. I'm actually talking to the people in Boston on public broadcasting, so hopefully that works out.
That's fantastic. I have family in Boston because I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts. I have friends that are in New York as well. So I didn't know you had YouTube. So, okay, great. So then that way I can share that with them. But if you do in Boston, that's awesome. Like half my family's there.
Well, I'm hoping it works out because, I tried reaching out to just one studio. I can't remember the name, but it was in Brooklyn. And they're like, oh, well, if you want to be on our network, we need a photo ID. Okay. But now we need a bill with your name and address on it. I just gave you my photo ID with my name and my address on it. Well, we want a bill that shows where you live in Manhattan. I don't live in Brooklyn. Okay. Well, you said you're on Manhattan Neighbor Broadcasting. Yes. Well, how did you do it? They just asked for my ID, and the guy interviewed me, and it's on my Facebook site and my main website, actually. And he talked to his producers. It was pretty easy. They just didn't want to do it. I'm like, okay, the hell with you. So I reached out to all public accesses that I can find. Boston, that I heard back from today. If you know any in Texas, I know I don't live there, but I'm trying to get my network everywhere. But for the most, go ahead.
Ex-husband used to do a public access show, so I can ask him about that for you. If I forget, remind me. Just because I have another meeting at 5:30, I have to get to. But message me and let me know.
No, absolutely. And now I do have a couple questions off the air.
Yes, I have like 7 more minutes.
With
that
being said, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
First, Becky Hayes.
Hi, I'm Amelia Rose.
There, I'm Saki Mieta.
Hi guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrews Show.